surprised to see that it's left open. Though Karsa grabbing that Hecarim. This is something we've been seeing a lot. Same with the Tristana. That's what I expected. Answered by Meteor's Olaf. Something that we were actually wondering. You and I were discussing a bit in rehearsal. We didn't expect that to be left open at all. We thought that the Olaf towards Meteor would be banned each and every time. Never allowed to play the champion. But Karsa's saying, I feel more than confident going up against your Olaf.
Yeah, this is interesting. Olaf has been nerfed for consecutive patches now. The W has been going down, and his passive was hit pretty hard, but he's still Meteor's best champion. This is career-wise his most banned champion by a long shot. So BLG do have a strong jungler to play through. In the LPL, Olaf, of course, trends towards ganking bot lanes quite a bit. I think we are going to see that be sort of the flashpoint for BLG, as top esports have just gone from strength to strength. I do want to see top esports potentially take away the Sylas, even though Orianna has a good time in lane against the Sylas. I feel like Sylas is a very dynamic pick, and it's something that is so comfortable for Zeka that it could present a potential, you know, sort of win condition for BLG.
And it's something that I love seeing tag teamed with an Olaf. Skirmish potential. I've been talking about this a lot today. Whenever you have Olaf, you always want to see if you can tag team and try to find these 2v2s, maybe between mid and jungle of your opponents, or even top and jungle. Try to see if you can rotate around there. If you can get BiuBiu into a position to feel confident, that's going to help out BLG a lot. Unfortunately, it's not going to be with the Jace. That's not too surprising to see it banned away from him, since that is something that they've been able to find a lot of success with.
Yeah, 369 really not risking anything here. I think 369 has had some great games himself recently come this weekend, but, you know, against the Shy, he still had some games where he was just completely invisible. So they don't want to chance it on this Jace. I think it's a good idea to just take it away from BiuBiu, his best champion here. And now I just expect top esports to get a little bit more frontline. Support option wise, most of them have been taken away. Nautilus is never something that you love to see, but it's a decent champion nonetheless. Now, I think Leona, I still prefer Leona a little bit more than Nautilus. I think it's easier to get Aftershock on her, and you just kind of survive a lot more. So I like this coming out, and they are going to leave themselves a top lane counter pick just to make sure that BiuBiu's not going to run away with the matchup.
And the only thing with Leona is it's not quite like that Atlas or even like the Nautilus into Rell, where you can interrupt that crash down. However, it is still great for pick potential. Trying to see if you can catch aiming out of position, or we're going to see what Zeka lands in that mid lane. If it's going to be something a little bit more mobile, a little bit more all over the place to be able to dodge away from those Zenith Blades, dodge away from Solar Flare, or if it's going to be Twisted Fate, something, again, that they've utilized to be able to move around the map a lot. Immediately, whenever Zeka gets level 6 on this Twisted Fate, immediately is looking for a play elsewhere. Oh,
let's do it. Come on.
Let's do it.
This is sweet. 369 with the pound pick for the top lane. BLG, this is a super bottom side focused draft. This is playing around aiming, basically. You have globals going into there. You have Olaf that's going to run with Ragnarok, unstoppable. Leona can't do anything about the Berserker. So BLG are showing their cards pretty handedly. It's a super telegraphed draft. And for top esports, this is a team composition that I do favor in this matchup a little bit more. I feel like against Twisted Fate, the Orianna, the Pony Express combo coming in from Hecarim with the Orb is just so powerful in this one, and they also have more options to play the game out in terms of Quinn split push. So if they can survive, I say the level 6 dive that's coming in from TF and Ragnarok, I think they should be fine.
But the thing is, when you get to level 6, you're expecting that dive. Quinn into Renekton, is that going to be an option? I'm expecting to see 369 out of the gates look to try to take over this lane from BiuBiu, throw down the gauntlet essentially, and constantly look for these solo kills.
So the interesting thing about this matchup is I've been keeping tabs of this one, and in Korean solo queue there actually have been some counters. We have seen Prowler's Claw come out for the Renekton. So you go not Ninja Tabbies, plated steel caps into Prowler's Claw, and a lot of times you can actually neutralize parts of the matchup. You're going to be able to have an extra dash that's going to allow you to surprise the Quinn and just go all in on her. I want to see which side BiuBiu tries to go for, and whether he has that sort of cheese build up his sleeve.
I'm excited for this game as well. Game 1, top esports, Bilibili Gaming, trying to fight for different spots, different battlefields, commencing as we load up onto the Rift. Hear the cheering a bit. It was a bit more quiet than, in my ear at least, than normally would like it. I like it. I like hearing it loud and proud. You know, they're out there all ready for it. Of course, you know, the stadium's not as full as normal. Kind of waiting for some restrictions to lift it. Right now, 369 getting a pretty decent trade onto BiuBiu. This is kind of what I was expecting, unfortunately, for this matchup of Renekton Quinn. Even though 369 has gone for the cold start, it doesn't matter. You need that Prowler's Claw to be able to find that full fight into Quinn, and I'm expecting with press the attack Renekton that is going to be the build path that you want to be able to go for. Unfortunately, it is going to be a rough lane until then.
Yeah, we are seeing BiuBiu actually getting a pretty decent trade for Renekton early on. The main way you want to play this lane is just get 369 low enough and hopefully wait for a gank. There's not much you can actually do early game. Renekton is, he has a very telegraphed engage in the slice and dice, so the vault is always going to come out. You're never really going to stand on top of her. And in the meantime, I like this from Meteor. This is a really cheeky play that we've seen from a lot of Lilia players, and now with Olaf players, it's just red to red buff. If you have a better 2v2 skirmish, you can consistently pull this off.
Right, and that's the smart call, saying, all right, you let me have my Olaf. Of course I'm going to play aggressive. But bot lane, JackeyLove had to flash away with Cleanse immediately, trying to escape the flash coming in from aiming, also using Cleanse to try to get on top and get first blood in that 2v2 matchup. Karsa showing up into the bot lane, but aiming might be able to kite this one back in time to be able to get the true damage. No, could not manage it. So it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, it was incredibly close on the back end right there. The Zenith Blade actually not connecting for Zhuo, so could have been a kill going just back over, and we could have seen aiming just outplay that. But at the end of the day, taking stock of the trade, I still think BLG come out a little bit ahead of that. It's a 2v3, and they do get the kill on the AD carry. So BLG with a strong start, and with double summoners gone from top esports, that means when Zeka lands, there's not going to be a flash on JackeyLove.
No, and that's what I want to see if Meteor is going to be able to path into that bot lane to try to continue aiming ahead of JackeyLove. If you're able to get a 2-for-2 win in that bot lane for Bilibili, we were talking about how JackeyLove has been playing very well in previous matchups. This one not going as well, but 369 looks like a nice, juicy target. Slice and dice from BiuBiu trying to get on top of 369 to flash in. Gets the cleanse, flash away underneath the turret. It is going to be Meteor taking the kill, but the turret might reciprocate it, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade again in this match.
That's still pretty decent because you got both summoners away from Quinn, so you can just repeat gank this. What I will mention about the timing here is I felt like it was pretty smart from BLG. We just saw 369 use his heightened senses. That was on cooldown, and he didn't see anyone. So he just walked straight forward, and it's a good wraparound gank coming in from Meteor to pick up the kill.
Yeah, just smart call, being able to find that play. Unfortunately, with it a trade, it's not necessarily going to be the exact position you'd want. You want to be able to keep falling, but it's allowed BiuBiu to at least have some alone time in that top lane. And since it's TP into Cleanse Flash out of Quinn, and she's not yet level 6, you're going to be able to at least exert a bit more pressure into that lane to try to get closer towards that Prowler's Claw. You can already see the plated steel caps have been completed by Renekton just to be able to survive a little bit more of that harass that 369 is going to unleash.
Yeah, to talk just a little bit. Oh, wait a minute. There's 3v2 coming in. No
nice flash
summoners
to
on
be able to get this done, and JackeyLove understands. It's over. Just give the kill. Meteor's gonna take it.
That was kind of unfortunate there. Karsa was actually just in the bot lane trying to get this wave to reset. They don't really manage it, and JackeyLove has to overstay there. So BLG, honestly, they have a great game plan to continue to just pile in onto JackeyLove. If we look at the timers right here, Zeka is close to getting that level 6. He's level 5 already. In 1 more minute, he's going to be able to pay JackeyLove a visit. And this is something that's really interesting about Tristana, is that if you put her down enough, she automatically pushes. So she will always put herself in a very dangerous position, and if she's not fed, then she actually has sort of a negative snowball aspect to her kit.
Exactly, and that's honestly what you need to do to be able to stop JackeyLove from getting out of control. Karsa is attempting to invade onto Meteor, but it was spotted out, and Destiny Gate, I talked about this, the moment you get level 6, try to spot out anybody who's out of position. Karsa being the one, but 369 was on the other side. Meteor going to be able to show up with the help of J-Way, so they should be able to take down Karsa and give a 3rd kill over to Meteor.
This is why people never give Meteor, Olaf to Meteor, excuse me. I nearly just called him Olaf. That's kind of his true name anyway. But massive win there, and also the bot lane just showing up because they had the push priority. 369, I don't think this is enough of a lead in the top side. Meteor should not be done.
Hold on, he might be able to get it. No, with BiuBiu showing up. 369 smart on the call to be able to back off of that one, but man, that is going to be able to take a little bit of the wind in the sails of Meteor, since he doesn't get that scuttle crab that he was trying so desperately to claim.
Yep, just securing a little bit of objectives there, and looking at the bot side, if that actually costs BLG anything by roaming their support, but it looks like they're still fine. You know, they're down 1 plate, but that's totally acceptable for them at this stance. I do want to pivot a little bit about the top lane builds that we have been seeing from Quinn recently. It usually is the Gale Force and the Storm Razors into Infinity Edge. So a pretty heavy crit build coming out from the top side, with a lot of potential slows going on to the Renekton.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty easy time to be able to kite back that Renekton and try to see if you can stop him from getting too out of control. But at the moment, I'm kind of still keeping my eyes on how this jungle matchup is going to go. I talked about Meteor being the one that kind of can help to take over these games and be the facilitator of the team. Well, this time around, he's got much more than just facilitating he's doing. He's not quite so utilitarian, such as Karsa is on the other side. With 3 kills under your belt, you're looking to see if you can have this Olaf try to transition this lead into other lanes to be able to maybe get out aiming and J-Way from that bot lane and keep bullying JackeyLove, so this Tristana isn't going to become a menace here in these team fights.
Oh, interesting trade coming out from BiuBiu. Nearly gets the Ruthless Predator. Slams the Q down and gets some damage in, but not really finding that target, as it's very difficult to do. And as you're mentioning, we do see Olaf right here with almost the Stride Breaker complete. That's a huge item for him. The amount of damage early is actually quite surprising, as BiuBiu tries to go in for a trade, but Karsa's there.
Oh, didn't realize that Karsa was nearby, so he's able to gallop right on top and slice down BiuBiu for his 2nd kill of the game. Both junglers being the ones to get most of the gold and the most of the kills so far.
Yeah, just waiting for BiuBiu to overextend in that lane. And now we are going to have a most likely a fairly lightly contested Herald from top esports side. They're not actually going to go for that. 369 doesn't have his teleport. That was what I was a little bit worried about for them. And they decide not to go for this, but in they go on
Zenith Blade onto Zeka to knock him back as well. Zhuo is going to be able to get the kill, as BiuBiu wants to be able to trade one back onto Karsa. Going to be able to get the stun they need to with the slice and dice, but he had to flash away to be able to survive from the fight. There's going to be a pick from top esports, taking out Zeka, the source of globals.
That was pretty amazing to see, because they were standing on top of a ward. BLG just didn't read the potential play, and top esports find themselves a rather risky kill. That's going to stop the bleeding a lot from this Twisted Fate. As we have talked about, TF going into the side lanes is kind of the main win condition for BLG, but now he's not going to be able to do it with as much pressure as he would like to. Without the flash going into that one, it's going to be a bit weaker. And Karsa also going off to the races right now. This is one of the champions that I felt like he's been doing really, really well on with that extra Turbo Chem Tank build. He's able to section off backline carries very well into the team fights, and that's exactly what I expect out of him when we go into the 5v5s. Just him having the ball onto him and just staying around Zeka so he can't actually get into the team fights. Looking at this play, this was, you know, full vision for BLG. they want to bait it out, and they pay the price for it.
And the thing is, that play works out perfectly because it also burns the TP from BiuBiu while losing nothing. They don't have to worry about that anytime soon. It's going to be a long cooldown. So if they want to be able to play around some of these objectives and deny that from Meteor, that's going to let Top have this position on the map that once 369 is done with that call, you'd imagine this Quinn's going to be rotating everywhere.
Yeah, this is going to be very hard to stop, but you know what? BiuBiu is going for the build we've been talking about. Yeah. He's going to take it to the man. He's going for the Prowler's Claw Renekton build in search of those solo kills. He does have press the attack to do it, and I don't actually think he's too far behind. Usually in this matchup, it's almost unavoidable to be about 2 kills behind. Not 2 kills behind, to be about 20 CS behind. But this is still pretty on par. And all he needs right now is a couple of ganks from Zeka to probably just like 1 gank, 1 kill. And I think he's still within solo kill territory against this Quinn.
But it's going to be difficult because, as I said, now that you're level 9 for 369, it's going to be easy to move around, especially if you continue to focus the source of the global. Zeka, no way to escape this one. Understands, just trying to clear out the minion waves on his way out.
Well, that's just nothing you could do right there. Very easy gank coming in from Turbo Chem Tank. That's 75% extra move speed. Also 75% from the devastating charge. Not much that you can do, and this is why I give Top Esports the edge in later game team fights. I feel like they can just use that combo. Karsa doesn't even have to like do anything. He just needs to stand around Zeka, and he won't be able to engage on the team fight.
Right, and there's not going to be that Destiny Gate that we were waiting for from Zeka. He was able to make 1 play happen, which was nice, but hasn't been able to do so since it's been Karsa and Knight constantly harassing him, constantly pushing back in this Twisted Fate. So if he ever tries to move around the map, they're going to punish it immediately. As you can see, the Destiny Gate has been opened, but the fight is a little bit too late. J-Way taking a lot of damage, but same with Zhuo. He's going to be able to flash over the wall, but followed up by JackeyLove to be able to get the kill, but the flash coming in from Meteor, trying to chase down JackeyLove, but 369 is still fighting, was able to get Zeka to go golden flashed away to try to be able to survive. They're still waiting, and the flash in from Amy to be able to pick up the kill as Karsa takes down Meteor, gets stunned up by the gold card. BiuBiu pops dominance, wants to be able to try to jump into the back line of the fight. A messy spread out fight, but overall, it is a 2-for-2 trade.
But BLG do have the better positioning coming out of this one. They are going to have mid lane open, and, you know, BiuBiu should be able to defend bot lane for a while. I don't think they're going to lose it necessarily. We see a very aggressive TP in from Top Esports. They're definitely looking for the potential chase down play on the bottom side. And just kind of an overreach, I think, from Top Esports, trying to take out BLG in their own jungle. It doesn't really end up working for them, and if I look at the summoner exchanges here, I don't think that was profitable for Top Esports, given that they were the team ahead.
As we take a look at this replay, I gotta say, aiming had really good positioning throughout all of this, and this is really what saves this fight for me for BLG, because Zeka nearly gets zoned out by 369, but because aiming didn't follow over the wall, didn't really care about that spread part of the fight, was able to at least make it even. 2 kills for this ADC as well, to be in a much better position for these upcoming fights.
It could have gone much more in favor of Top Esports' way. Unfortunately, Zhuo missed his entire early combo, and Top Esports decided to go in anyway. So, a bit of no flashes on Knight. I think he's pretty much just dead here. The shockwave, he's trying to wait for it, but not enough. And this is what I was saying. When you're a team ahead, you don't really want to go for those max summoner trades in the enemy jungle. I don't think it's usually a good idea. And with that being traded away, it gives BLG a lot more opportunities to come back on the map, as they have now slowed down JackeyLove. Great undertow coming out from Meteor.
It was good, but with that buster shot, I figured that JackeyLove was going to be able to survive. Oh, he should have backed out completely, though, and expect that this was about to happen. They got a lot of damage going on to Meteor, but it's easy to just chop him down with that axe.
Yeah, Top Esports, they give it and they take it away at the same time. Just a little bit too hamsy over the map on overall, and BLG coming back with a great punish so far. This is again what I don't really like about some of Top Esports macro is I think they take fights that they don't necessarily need. when they are in the lead. If they just let this game draw out a little bit more, 369 would be winning out heavier in the top side. They would have been winning out heavier in the bottom lane. They wouldn't have lost this early tower, but they go for the all or nothing trades, and this is kind of the result. It gives the opponent team a way back into the game.
Especially when they have 2 dragons in their pockets. Third one about to spawn here in 30 seconds so that they can try to see if they want to fight over. And now that the gold is even between the two, Top Esports did have that relatively minor lead, but it's completely been negated, like you said, from those couple mistakes out of TES. So now they have to try to see if they can set up some vision control around this objective before they actually want to be able to commit to anything against BLG.
This is going to be an absolutely crucial fight, and just looking at the positions right here, BLG are going for the mid lane push into the out position against Top Esports, and what Top Esports should be trying to do is basically use the sphere right here to try and zone BLG off of the Raptor ramp. BLG kind of quizzically, they didn't really get the vision on the right side of this brush, so they were forced, even when they had the mid lane priority, to go back onto their own ramp. And now BiuBiu, just using that push in the bot lane, they're going to get some vision back here, but that's the general way you can see them trying to do it. They're trying to get river access and not get surprise shockwaved out of that side brush.
Seems like TES are going to forfeit the dragon. Their dance did not work out the way they would have wanted to. So, regardless of whether or not BLG was able to play that immaculately perfect, they still are able to get the objective nonetheless. They force TES to have to back out of that, go back to the drawing board on what they want to be able to do when it comes to these next fights. They keep JackeyLove in this position to try to clear out these minion waves. They even want to be able to get this Rift Herald, but I'm just waiting for that TP from BiuBiu to be able to punish them.
Yeah, I don't really like Top Esports' macro right here. I feel like giving over the third Drake is... oof, it's really tough. It puts a lot of pressure on the team, and we are going to get a Mountain Soul. Mountain Soul in just like pick composition, just actually, it doesn't work out that much for BLG. Like, BLG preferably want to pick you out anyway, so Infernal's still best, but it's kind of difficult when you are relying on a lot of AoE damage from the Orianna to finish off team fights. Top Esports they forfeit the Drake, they go for the greedy play on Herald, and BLG still catch them out. So this chain of events, not really what I want to see from Top Esports. I would have actually much preferred them just not send Orianna top lane to split push, instead have her still in the Drake pit and try to contest that. I feel like they're giving over way too much of the map at this point.
They're giving up a lot, but it's also being punished by BLG. They're reading these plays excellently to be able to get control of these objectives. Meteor constantly making these calls like, hey, we have TP advantage. Because 369 opted to not take it, they could always utilize that. BiuBiu is able to get underneath the turret, even though there's a lot of damage that came in from 369, you're not able to blow him up fast enough.
It's just going to be a tower for tower trade, and honestly, with the TP synced into that, I'm totally okay with this if I'm BLG. I am feeling happy. I'm feeling glad. Let's make the trade. There's no Drake on the bottom side anyway. I am perfectly fine to wait this one out until we get into the next Mountain Soul.
Exactly, and they're just constantly waiting it out, knowing that there's no real rush for them. Even though you kind of look at this build and be like, all right, BLG need to hurry up. It's Prowler's Claw Renekton. Always gotta hurry, hurry, hurry. But it really doesn't matter in this composition. That's actually what's going to work well for them. You're gonna have this Renekton that can constantly stick to the backline, to be able to dive in consistently and always be able to follow up the members of TES.
Yeah, if I have Mountain Soul in 3, then I can afford to wait these 3 minutes out. It's true that they don't have the scaling advantage later into the game, but I think for these couple of minutes, you can play just totally safe and just kind of wait and see what happens in that one. Just taking a look back at 369's build, he's actually not going to go for the Gale Force, actually opting for max damage with the Kraken Slayer, but it still will be the Storm Razor. So I actually really like Storm Razors in these side lane situations. It has a nice slow on it that lasts for quite a while, and that just allows you to kite back against the Renekton. I'm not exactly sure who wins this matchup out with the Prowler's Claw into the scenario, but given that 369 is at item lead, I think he should still be fine for now.
Well, they're setting up that split push potential out of 369, looking for yet another low health turret. Has backup of Knight, so BiuBiu needs to be a bit more careful. They're jumping on underneath the turret. He's going to be able to dice away from now. They have the vision they need to. That's a lot of damage 369 is doing, popping dominance. Noticing that Meteor's nearby, they got the objective they came for, which was that tier 1 turret.
A beautiful play coming out from them, and Top Esports, this is sort of an interesting move. They're trying to use staggered objectives to pull BLG out of position for picks. This is a move that we see really often in the LPL. If you're going to go Mountain Soul, if you're going to index into the bot lane with that side lane push, we're going to try and force you and come to the Baron. Now, the only problem with this sort of an exchange is that a lot of times Drake is a lot easier to take. So BLG could just do 4-1 and have someone just take away the Mountain Drake on one side while playing Deny on the other. This is sort of the typical macro answer if you want to do something like that. And we're going to see just a Destiny Gate pop from Zeka, feeling a bit angsty.
I would have preferred that was waited, but maybe Zeka thought that something was being attempted by TES. Feeling like, hey, wait, I don't notice anybody. I can't really see where they are on the map. Maybe expecting to be collapsed on in that bot lane. But I would have liked them to have held onto it for right now when they pop this eye mid lane and try to see if they can put up a little bit of a fight around the Mountain Dragon. They don't need to put the full team fight up, but at least have some sort of way to get into the pit.
Yeah, this is, I guess they're just thinking, hey, we're going to fight this 5v5. We don't really need the catch potential from Destiny Gate.
Oh.
Still would have been nice. And Herald does absolutely nothing there.
Nothing.
This is, I like Top Esports positioning. This is exactly what they should do. Try to punish BLG as they come down from the rift. And BiuBiu really isn't a tank. He can't absorb that shockwave and hope to walk out alive here.
No, not yet. Going for the Prowler's Claw means that you forfeit any of that ability to survive in some of these fights. You see a little bit of damage. Nice Solar Flare. Going to be able to get Zeka to be able to go Golden Magnet Sword, but that Shockwave into the back line in from Knight. It rips apart Bilibili. They have to flash, run for the hills, but everyone knows that that fight was won off of Knight's Shockwave alone.
Yeah, I'm super surprised that BLG decided to go all in after the engage right there. They should have played up in towards their own ramp. Instead, J-Way goes in, and what that does is it gives Karsa a beautiful opportunity for, I think it was a full team onslaught of shadows, just rushing straight into the back line, stopping all of the damage coming out, and aiming even dies post-flash to that one. So Top Esports win out everywhere on the map. They are about to get the Baron. Meteor is still close, but I don't think he could get in.
Trying to fight back with Zeka, using the Destiny Gate to be able to show up. Not going to be able to get in range for that gold card, so it is going to be the Baron picked up after that one team fight. Near ace from the side of TES, and this gives over all that pressure. We were talking about their macro not being exactly as we needed to, but Zhuo was able to have a perfect solar flare that starts this all off.
Yeah, and Rell's idea to go in, I think, really wasn't the correct one. We've been talking about this entire time in the Drake setup. You just put the ball onto the Raptor ramp, BLG can't get over it. Instead, the support drags everyone into the team fight, into multiple 5-man combos. That was disgusting to see, and almost, it just felt like BLG kind of handed over the perfect scenario to Top Esports in that one. I would have preferred them to play with a little bit more patience, and if that flash came through, I think that Zeka still could have gotten out of that. He Zhonya'd actually perfectly there. So just a bit of a weird chain where BLG kind of fell into the sunk cost fallacy and just handed over the keys of the realm to Top Esports.
And Knight honestly on point with that Orianna Shockwave too, allowing them to be able to grab Zeka the moment he came out from stasis, so there was no way that he could even survive after having dodged away from that solar flare. Everything went right for top there, where they were able to find exactly what they needed to. As you mentioned, the onslaught of shadows too. Pretty much every member played perfectly in that fight for top.
You have those enemy team members lining up for you, so just knock him down. Super easy for Top Esports to actually execute right now. And at this point, 369 does have the crit build online. What I expect out of Top Esports is to play more of a 4-1 strategy. We have seen Knight try to fold in at times into 369 to get him that extra kill, but they could really make max use of this Baron play here by splitting their members up just a little bit. Obviously, I don't think they should do it cross-map since Zeka is there, but I think they can afford to at least push 2 lanes at the same time as they are doing right now, with Quinn being shadowed by the Hecarim.
Yep, and Tristana, when left alone with the turret, is able to bulldoze that pretty quickly as J-Way was able to learn that. Right now, they're making an attempted play. They're going to be able to assassinate 369 underneath the nose of Karsa. So 1 Baron gone. That split push potential taken away from TES. Destiny Gate, good blast cone in from Knight to be able to escape from Zeka. Not going to be followed up by the rest of the members of BLG. Instead, they want to see if they can at least get some vision control back of their own jungle. Ooh. Solar Flare just wide of Zeka, who's able to use that Rocket Belt to be able to get away. Shockwave not even going to be able to connect either. So it looks like a lot has been used by both sides, but it is going to be Bilibili getting control of the jungle.
Massive win for BLG. They stopped the entire Baron push from happening there. They don't even lose a turret in that one. They lose 1 turret in that one. I want to see how the combo just catches 369 off guard. He vaults early, and BiuBiu is still into range, so he's able to just stick to him with the Prowler's Claw and find the kill. That was 369 going in onto the Croc, and the Croc didn't like that.
No, that was a 3-level disadvantage for BiuBiu too. Keep that in mind. But Prowler's Claw, that lethality that you're able to get for this Renekton, he becomes an assassin. He does what he needs to be able to kill this Quinn, who is bullying him in lane, getting a little bit of revenge now.
That's really funny, as we saw 369 actually smirking after the play. He did not think that he would die right there. That's PTA with 12% enhanced damage, and also the Prowler's Claw with 15 coming in. So a lot more damage going into the target of choice for Renekton. Nothing that 369 could do without his cleanse or his flash in that one. And that's going to be Baron just gone from top esports, as they have to go into this next Drake with BLG still having a pretty good chance at the Mountain Soul this time.
They do. And look at this. Look at this vision that they were able to get from that play. That they were able to push back towards TES to try to make sure they can contest this wall. I don't think that you throw everything at the wall for this, because it could be detrimental if you end up losing this fight badly. But you might be able to at least secure something. A little bit of damage back on Zhuo. He's going to be able to at least get back towards the team with Zeka on the other side, looking for 369. Not going to be able to get in range of that gold card just yet.
Gonna be a very tense fight, and so far I like top esports positioning a lot better. BLG has to collapse and flank from 2 different directions, which means top esports, honestly, it's not really an easy way. They should get onto the same side. Yeah, this is what BLG should do. Like, if you're trying to flank this, then Karsa can just stop one side very easily. He'll just run in with the ball on the other side, and there's nothing you can do. So BLG trying to reorganize themselves, realign on the same side. And now Knight is just trying to play zone away at this point. J-Way is already passed, and here comes the engage.
He's going to go over to Karsa, but they fight into the backline. They've got Knight like they need to. Aiming, trying to see if he can position in a way that he's going to be able to get the most damage onto Karsa, but they're going to lose the Croc in the whole fight. The flash coming in. JackeyLove found what he needed to. He's on top of Zeka. There was a red card, not a gold card. He goes golden. He goes into the ground. The jump over the wall coming in from JackeyLove, trying to see if he can fight. Again, aiming. The killer instinct will be enough to be able to fight back, but Karsa not going to look for the gallop to be able to chase down Amy, instead waiting for 369. Notice that he's there. The jump in. Finally, the ace comes in for top esports.
Really well played. Knight didn't even land a shockwave, and somehow top esports still won the team fight. That was really incredible from them, just the amount of damage that they were able to put out on the members. Not a real front line on BLG, and honestly, I felt like BLG actually played that pretty damn well. Getting Orianna before shockwave was an amazing win, and they still couldn't take it down.
Unfortunate, because when you look at this fight, I think it's the fact that BiuBiu was not able to get onto the top target. They burst down Knight as opposed to trying to burst down JackeyLove.
Yeah, you can see on the back line that they could play front to back so easily, and this is what we were talking about the comps. The difference is that top esports do have the better identity in terms of just front to back. So with 2 AD carries not dead, and JackeyLove honestly suiciding, even going back for the war, he's like, well, if I'm gonna die, might as well get some gold with me. But that was that's just how far ahead top esports are with their comp and with their scaling at this point, that they can lose Knight and still come out ahead.
And honestly, this is what we were talking about before, is that TES have this scaling composition that the longer the game continues to persist, they're going to get scarier and scarier. You look at Karsa, look how tanky he is at the moment. You look at 369, if they lose JackeyLove, they have the fallback AD carry that they can utilize instead. Even without Knight, they still have enough damage that from the true damage burst of a Kraken Slayer that it doesn't matter what Bilibili have built to try to see if they can stop them.
It's going to be really hard for BLG to play from this point on. They're pretty much on pick duty only at this point. Like, if that teamfight told you anything, it's you have to get this Destiny Gate to actually pop off on a single target. And just looking at the build here, Zeka's actually went for the Rocket Belt instead of the Everfrost. Still rather common on 11.3, but this is a build that you take for the extra range burst that you have when you land. And I'm a little bit surprised, even with the rapid fire cannon, that they're not going for picks. Here they come onto JackeyLove.
Well, they're trying to pick onto JackeyLove. They're going to be able to get the burst for aiming to take him down, but 369's on the other side and aiming's pretty low. Knight's going to be able to get the kill on the J-Way, with the jump in onto BiuBiu, who jumps in himself, gets taken down to the double kill as Karsa in the middle of the base against Meteor. They've lost everyone else. It's only one member, and it's the Viking himself trying to defend his homeland, but it's not going to be able to work out this time around. TES have the Baron and the minions to win.
This is just damage overload coming in from top esports. You might be able to take one member from us, but it doesn't matter. The other ones are going to be able to clean this up. Another one-sided fight from top esports despite losing a main carry. It looks like it doesn't matter which one. Top esports are the Trident team. Anyone can fill in for the damage slot.
Anyone's able to slot, and they get game one in a very close bout against BLG. It seemed like BLG had some moments that they were going to be able to find these picks that they needed to, but the team fights and the scaling of TES was too much for them to be able to overcome.
Yeah, it just seems like BLG need to find an answer to this Tristana. Aiming hasn't really played it this split, and Tristana is your premier go-to team fighting pick. Just so much power out of her in the late game. Even down 0-2, they were able to keep her going by just focusing Zeka. I think that was the most important point for top esports in this game. Even though bot lane was actually losing, they were able to stop the globals from coming out and wrestle away most of the mid game just with targeting out that Twisted Fate over and over again.
Well, it's also the nice thing about having a double AD carry composition. If you get Tristana behind, you have Quinn that you can fall back to. And even with BiuBiu having that ability to assassinate 369, it's not like it really had anything it could do past that. You assassinate one target using the Prowler's Claw, and then you die. That's about all you could do.
Pretty much. It's an all or nothing build, and you have to actually win out in lane to utilize it to its max potential. I think this was a rather muted game from Zeka. I did expect a little bit more out from the Twisted Fate, but the combo just caught themselves off guard again and again from top esports with the onslaught of shadows and the shockwave positioning. I will say this wasn't the cleanest game from top esports. I felt like their bot lane fell behind very, very far behind, and you could see the problem with Tristana when she's behind is that she can't control the wave. She will die again and again. And the other things were that they just forced their team fighting a little bit too much at times, while also being too timid around the third Drake. The third Drake I don't really understand. I felt like they gave BLG so much room to maneuver, giving away the Herald and the Dragon. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter when 369 does 4 times the damage of his enemy.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you have a Quinn that's able to constantly push in, they have that split push they can always fall back onto. And you can even see from the gold over time how it was really even for a long time. Even when you see that little bit of a lead that TES were able to get, it wasn't until that fight, the big fight, the shockwave from Knight that got 4 members, they got nearly a clean ace against BLG, that let them take full control of the map to be able to bully around Bilibili at any moment, since before then, Meteor was the one who was in control of most of the objectives. That's one of the reasons why they were able to get 3 dragons. One was a missed play coming in from TES, but the 2 dragons prior had just been good positioning and realizing the macro calls that needed to happen early.
3 kill start from Meteor on his best champion, and it doesn't result into a win. That has to be a very, very rude awakening for BLG. And like you were mentioning, I just felt like BLG, their positioning in crucial team fights was a little bit off at times. The Destiny gate before the team fight, and then Zeka getting caught on the ramp were kind of like head-scratching plays, and their attempts to flank from 2 angles against top esports was also just, I don't think that would have ever worked out, honestly. So, just BLG, I feel like this is the trend we have seen. They can play early games really clean, really tightly, have great results, but when it comes to the 5v5, it's just really not their game, and they need to think how they actually work around this in very, very quick succession, because the future patches are even harder on 5v5s and even more about team fights.
Especially with the fact that they're still trying to see if they can battle back and fight for survival in playoffs. For now, we're going to toss to a break. We'll be back with Game 2 between BLG and TE.